Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about the storing of the milks, what I store them in, different ways you can store them, how long they can be stored in that particular way for, the heating of the milk. Don't worry, I'm not going to be cooking or anything. I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not at the weaning stage, but when I am at the weaning stage, I will be documenting it. Obviously like frozen storage bags, etc. And I think that's pretty much how this episode will go. So basically, you can get these bottles on Amazon. I think you can also, when I gave birth in the hospital, they gave these to me as well. They gave me like 10 because I was pumping there. And obviously I did a batch for when I got home. So if you type in Steri Feed breast milk bottles, they should come up. These ones, I'd probably say the best ones to get. They're the 130ml ones, because realistically, if you do get the smaller ones and you end up getting more, or even the 100ml ones, I just think it's a bit of a waste. If you get 100ml and just pop it into the 130ml bottle, because then if you get more, you've still got capacity to use it, you know? So I only have these because the hospital gave them to me, but I did purchase these ones. So they do say on the website that they're up to 10 uses. This actually apparently isn't true. When I asked my midwife, she said that obviously they recommend that they're up to 10 uses, but as long as you're sterilising them, then it's absolutely fine. But we then go on to the whole topic of if you wash them, you know, with warm soapy water, they can still be used. So basically, you can still reuse these after 10 uses. So I got a few of these and I still use these. These are the ones that I personally use for the fridge, because imagine storing your milk in here and then stacking them up in the freezer. It would just take up so much room. You can get these ones, which are freezer storage pots, or you can use these for the fridge. But I personally think these ones are smaller and they're just easier to use. So I use these to store in the fridge. So I pop labels on them. They're just sticky labels. Some people use water pens or like board pens. They just come off. But to put the date and the time, it's crucial that you put the date and the time that you expressed your milk, because obviously it can only be used for a certain amount of time. So I pop a label on here and I store it in the fridge. Now your fridge needs to be set at 4 degrees Celsius or less. If it's set at 4 degrees Celsius or less, it means that you can keep your milk in the fridge for 6 days. It's called the 666 rule. That's how people tend to, they find it easier to remember it that way. 6 days in the fridge if it's set at 4 degrees or less. If your fridge is set higher than that, then it's only 3 days. So my fridge is set, I think, 3 degrees, and obviously I keep my milk in there for 6 days. Your milk does separate. Don't be alarmed. It's perfectly normal. Just give it a swirl, and when it warms up or hits room temperature, the milk will... Do you know what that is, guys? That's my pumping alarm, because I have to have alarms to pump. Otherwise I miss my pump and then I get a blocked duct. But it can wait a couple of minutes. That's how organised you have to be. Sorry about that. So, God, what bit was I on? Okay, so I was saying that the milk, oh yeah, it comes together when it's at room temperature as well, so don't worry about that. Then other ways to store, you can get frozen bags. You can get different ones. Literally there's these ones, and there's even these ones. They're different brands. I've spoken to one particular brand that said that they've worked really hard on the plastics that they've used to make sure that it's best for breast milk, that nothing leaks from the plastic into the breast milk. I know that Aldi are doing their own version where you can have 10 ounces stored. Obviously, most of the frozen bags that you get have a space to put your name, your date, the volume. Some maybe won't have the time, but you need to pop the time on there as well. And then it's best to lay these flat in the freezer, and then obviously they freeze this way, and then it's easier to stack them when you're storing them. That's how I found. They can stay in the freezer for up to 6 months. They say that with a chest freezer, they could be in there for 12 months, but it is best to use your milk within the 6-month mark. So what I tend to do is I have a list in my bedroom of the bags that I have in the freezer, how many bags I have, and for what month. So say I have June 3 bags, then I'll know that, you know, from 6 months, that's when that bag will be out of date. So from the 5 month mark, I'll get the bag out and I'll start using it so that by the time it comes to 6 months, I would have used it and it wouldn't have gone out of date. So how I tend to do this is I bring it down to my kitchen freezer so I know that's a bag that I'm using. And to defrost them, I'll take maybe 6 bags that I need for the day, or 7 bags once I've calculated how much Junior will need mils wise. At the moment, he's taken probably around 700 to 800 mils, so that'll probably be around 7 to 8 bags. I will stack them up in like a plastic container like this, just in case if the bags split or if anything leaks, it's going into this container and I'm not wasting it. And also, obviously, with it defrosting, you just get a bit of water on the outside of the bags. So I tend to take this out before I go to bed and I'll pop it in the fridge, because then it's starting to frost as I'm asleep, and then I can start to use it in the day. Obviously, it lasts 24 hours if you do it that way, that you can use the milk for. And if you wanted to warm it up, you can also pop it into the glass. Here we go, the glass jug with some warm water, and then that will bring the milk together as well if you needed it more urgently than what the fridge was defrosting it at. Or you can leave it out at room temperature to defrost as well. Same with the Steri-Feed bottles. If you want to warm up your breast milk, you can just pop it in there, put warm water in and leave it for a few minutes. Obviously, they say to test the breast milk, you need to obviously put it in the bottle and put it on the back of your wrist, and you shouldn't be able to feel the milk. If it's cold, then obviously the baby will feel cold. And if you can feel the warmth, then it's too warm for the baby, so you shouldn't be able to feel it at all. I do give my baby fridge milk, so it is cold, because I want my baby to be used to all temperatures so that my baby isn't that fussy. So Junior has fridge cold milk, he'll have room temperature milk, and he'll also have warmed up milk. You know, I just basically decide, I switch it up. If there's been milk that's been left to get to room temperature, then I'll give him that one. If he really needs milk and I don't have one out, I'll just swirl it around, bring the milk together and give it to him at fridge temperature. And if, you know, he's had a nice bath and I've had time to go downstairs and warm up the milk before his feed, then I'll do it that way as well. So he's had it always. He doesn't mind, and he's not bothered about frozen milk either. It's good to test your baby with frozen milk near the beginning stages, because apparently it's not as sweet as your fridge milk. Personally, Junior doesn't mind whether it's frozen or whether it's in the fridge, so that's good. So going back onto storing my breast milk in the fridge, say I've expressed this one, I'll pop it in the fridge, here's a fridge door, and then the next ones that I express will go straight behind it in a line. Literally, they'll just all keep stacking up until they hit the back of the fridge. I do leave a gap between the back of the fridge because I don't want it to like touch and then they get frozen, don't they? You know how sometimes your fridge can have a bit of frost at the back. And then obviously part of it will freeze, which I don't want to do. So then once I've got this whole section all filled up to the back, not too far near the back, I'll then express and it will go to the next section. So it'll go to the next row along, and then I'll do the same again. Whoops, it will go behind, behind, and behind, behind, and then obviously I'll do it again. So basically I know that it's, when I go to get the milk, I'll take the first milk in the front and then use the milk behind that. So this is just my method. It's probably like a crazy method and people probably have an easier way of doing it, but you know, I know how I've got it all organised. I've ended up getting 3 freezers, so I think I've gone a bit breast milk mad, but I just want to kind of be organised because they can last 6 months. I can then use the milk for weaning, which I cannot wait, and also teething. You can freeze your breast milk and use that. So, you know, I am a strong advocate for breast milk, and I think it is amazing what the body does. And so that's why I've gone probably OTT on the breast milk, but I'm happy for it, so it's fine. You can have breast milk out at room temperature for 6 hours. They say it's best to use it, you know, as quick as you can and not to let it get to the 6 hour mark, but it's absolutely fine to let it get to the 6 hour mark. Sometimes when I have had to wake up at night, I'll take a milk at the fridge, and obviously that's at fridge temperature, so like 3 degrees, and I'll leave it there next to my bedside table because by the time I go to use it, it wouldn't have even got to room temperature yet. So I know I've got a few more hours added on rather than just the 6 hour mark. Because say I pump at 10 and I dream feed at 10:30, I'll take out a milk from the fridge, so 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. It'd be 6 hours maybe when Junior will wake up, which realistically would be like the cut-off point. But I know that it would have taken a couple of hours to get to room temperature, so I have a couple of hours spare. So obviously there are different websites that say you can have them out, you know, less time, longer, etc. I've had people say no, you can have it out for 8 hours, and then people go no, it should be 4 hours. So, but the rule is generally 666. But again, this is just what I've been doing and my own experience that I'm sharing with you guys. So yeah, you can always find out other information, but I thought I'd just share this with you. And yeah. And if you like what you see, then click the like button and the notification button and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching, and my Instagram is here. Take care.